plano, strategize, employee ako, Jordan, Nike. Ngayon, businessman ka, wala na yun sa equation eh. Kumbaga, hindi mo na binibili yun. Alright? Kasi, ang iniipon mo, para sa business.
We believe that every person should have a shot at being an entrepreneur.
So in this podcast, we will be sharing tips and strategies that we give to our own clients, as well as discuss real-life topics that pertain to certain industries and businesses.
This is Mentorship Monday.
Welcome to another episode of Mentorship Mondays, everyone. Today's episode is entitled The Difference Between Being an Employee and an Entrepreneur. Today's episode, we have RP, Chris, and Brian. And just to give you guys an idea, the context of today's episode will be revolving around the main differences that we saw. Because as you know, each and every one of us here used to be an employee before. And as we transitioned ourselves towards the entrepreneurial scene, we want to talk about the certain things that we saw in terms of difference about employment and entrepreneurial. Okay? So that is basically our goal for today. We are each going to be mentioning at least one. At least one thing that we notice is the difference. It may be positive towards one side, maybe negative towards another, but that doesn't mean that that's the only route that a person can take. Again, these are just our personal opinions. So if you have anything that you want to tell us, please do not hesitate to write along and watch along rather, and put your comments in the comment section below, and we would love to hear from you guys.
We would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, so for me, my personal experience, one of the things I've noticed is the difference between a short-term and long-term thinking. Basically, I've noticed that when I was an employee, I used to take things, 15 days at a time, basically paycheck to paycheck, right? Kung magkano yung pera ko ngayon, I'll save enough so that I have basically I won't save anything at all, and then hihintay ako nung next paycheck ko.
Hihintayin niya dumating yung linggo de peligro.
So same thing. I was doing that for years, and I noticed that when I transition into the entrepreneurship road, I cannot do that. That if you do that, I mean, that's not a good thing. If you take your business every 15 days or every month, that is definitely not a good thing. You need to make plans on a monthly, daily, weekly, yearly thing. It has to be done. You have to foresee or try to forecast things in advance. So that is one of the biggest things I've noticed in my transition.
That's right.
Yeah, because if you don't, if you look at things at a monthly thing, you would make totally different decisions.
Tama. Tsaka my wife and I used to talk about this a lot. No, actually, we still do pala. We talk about this a lot. Na yung the idea of saving when you are an employee versus when you are an entrepreneur is very, very different. When you are an employee and you're looking at a fixed salary, parang napakahirap mag-ipon. I mean, you hear about it all the time. Only spend 20%, put 80% in ganito, or only spend 60%, put 40% in savings. Mga ganun-ganon, di ba? And may investment plan pa, whatever. Kailangan certain ganito, pumupunta in investment, mutual funds, whatever. Dati parang, when you are an employee, it's so hard to visualize that eh. Kasi na, for example, if you are getting a fixed amount, then a certain amount of that goes to your rent, goes to your pagkain, goes to your children's schooling, whatever. Yung mga ganyan, no? So, and I actually have one experience na when we tried to reserve for the house na we have right now, I was only given mabait pa yung reservan ko ng bahay, binigyan niya ako ng 3 months. Para buuin ng 100,000 na reservation fee. Then everything else, ipapasok namin via Pag-ibig, etc. It took me for 3 months, no? I only was able to save 25,000 pesos. I wasn't even able to get half ng 100,000. That was how hard it was. Buti na lang may kapatid ako, si Kuya Val, God rest his soul, na tinulungan ako on how to purchase that house as far as the reservation is concerned. And after noon, we went ahead with a parang a monthly payment thing. And buti naman, kasi kahit papaano, when I transitioned towards the entrepreneurial scene, ngayon, I would like to say na I am very far from that kind of of hardships na kahit papaano, I would like to say na meron na akong maayos-ayos na ipon ngayon. Naiintindihan ko na kung paano ako makakapag-ipon kasi you are no longer working for a fixed type of salary coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, so from a mindset perspective na sinabi mo nga yung long-term versus short-term, I think that is very legit. Pero I think one of the main reasons why we have that as well is because of the money, the amount of money na pwede mong kitain sa employment versus sa pagiging entrepreneur.
Yeah, actually, just to give you an idea, yung pinagdaanan ni Chris, actually, first time ko nag-work ng BPO, yun ang ginagawa ko eh.
Tipong ubos lahat.
Ubus lahat pag sweldo. Kasi alam mo, the next 15 days, may salary ka ulit, may pera ka ulit, diba? So actually, depende sa mindset actually ng tao eh. So for me, magkakaiba yung employee ka and then being an entrepreneur mindset. Okay? Kasi nga, yung mga sinabi nyo nga, pag empleyado ka, gastos ka, tapos limited lang din yung amount of money. Kumbaga may cap. Alright?
Correct.
Depende na lang kung promote ka.
Okay.
Okay? So, and yung mindset na sinasabi ko, depende din kung masaya ka ba dyan or dyan ka. For example, employee ka. No? Kung masaya ka dyan or nag-stay ka lang dyan para lang may lagi kang pera. Okay? Kumbaga, hindi mo inisip yung growth. Okay? Kung paano ka maging successful in the future. Alright? So, depende on how you look at the things. No? So, kasi nung nag-employ ako, yun yung gawain ko. So, mahirap. So, nag-transition lang, nag-change siya nung naging, nag-iba yung mindset, yung pagka-business minded mo. Okay? For me, iba sila kasi if you are not happy on that, being an employee, no? Alright? Wala kang growth. Andiyan ka lang, sumasahod ka. And iba din yung pagka-entrepreneur mo. Pagka-businessman. Okay? Kung businessman ka kasi, yun, lagi mong isipin. Ano yung next move mo? Okay? Dapat may lagi kang extra. Hindi lahat ng pera gagastusin mo. Kasi what if yung month na yan, hindi pala maganda for your business? Okay? So, lagi mong intindihin yun. Hindi yung wawaldas ka lang ng pera, bili ka ng stocks, hintay ka na lang maubos. Hindi ganun.
Tama. I agree. As we transition towards the entrepreneurial world, one of the things na I noticed sa akin, you have to strategize more for the long term.
For the long term.
And would sometimes be, absent when you are an employee. That's why it is a very common thing for us to be able to hear sometimes na there is what we call the entrepreneurial mindset and there is the employee mindset. That's one of the main difference yung pagtingin mo na pagplano, yes.
Yung pagplano, strategize, employee ako, Jordan, Nike. Ngayon, businessman ka, wala na yun sa equation eh. Kumbaga, hindi mo na binibili yun. Alright? Kasi, ang iniipon mo, para sa business.
Yeah,
Diba?
I agree.
So, depende din. If happy ka sa ginagawa mo, like your product, gusto mo yun, diba? So, in the end, mas maganda yung growth mo. Alright? Or yung chance mo na maging successful.
Yeah. So to add to short term and long term, right? Because for employment, it does give a sort of a stability, right? So you are getting X amount at the end of 15 days, 30 days.
13th month ka pa.
Yeah. So you can spend this amount for today.
Yeah.
With the business, it is not like that. You will have months that are really really good, and there are months that won't be as good.
Sakto lang.
Sakto lang. So if you have that mindset that kung anong meron ngayon, gastos ko na kasi magkakaroon din naman in the future. If you have that kind of mindset, it's not going to be good. I mean, can you imagine if you had that kind of mindset pre-pandemic? You must, really have a harder time right now. So that, and also, for example, let's say since we're on that topic, let's say pre-pandemic, you were doing good without online sales or online presence, and then all of a sudden the pandemic happens, and you didn't make any long-term investment decisions. So that would be a very big problem.
Yeah.
Tama. Ako, I have two actually. One of the biggest ones, as far as the difference between being an employee and an entrepreneur, is my understanding about how a business works. I have to admit na back when I was still an employee, ako rin, I was also a victim ng tinatawag nga natin na employee mindset. Kasi there are people talaga na unfortunately they cultivate a tipong employee against the management type of thing. May mga ganyan talaga eh. Especially in the corporate world, yung tipong ang tingin natin, pag tayo rank and file, tingin natin sa mga matataas, sila yung kalaban. For whatever reason, meron lang talagang
ako.
See? Meron lang talagang ganyan. But one of the reasons then why a lot of people think that is because the lack of understanding. So what really happens and what it takes, how much it takes to be able to make the business run smoothly and successfully. And as I became an entrepreneur, I started to understand, some of the things na nangyari sa akin personally na i-relate ko, kaya pala ganito. It's not a matter of, it's not a matter of minamaliit ako or pinagsasabihan ako, but it's in the best interest of the company, etc. So, that's one of the things na I will say na has helped me a tremendous deal. From being an employee to now an entrepreneur, I got to understand both sides of it. I got to understand the people na nandun sa rank and file positions, and now I understand people na nandun sa, decision-making positions. So, yeah, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest things na nagbago sa akin na na-notice ko difference between employment and what do you call this? Entrepreneurship. Okay? Now, the other one na na-notice ko, and this is gonna be a bit controversial to you guys, is there is actually a certain level na you should be seeing your employment as the same as how you are looking at a business. Okay? So, to a certain degree, in my opinion, pwede mong sabihin walang pinagkaiba. Okay, let me elaborate. For example, in your own business, you want everything to be perfect. Every facet of it, you want perfect, from the product to the sales to the customer service. From your employment, if you are, let's say you are a sales agent, and you are working on commission. If you look at yourself, your skill set as your business, na ang produkto mo is your sales technique, and you perfect it, every facet of it, from how you pitch it to your customer service to your follow-through and everything, then you will be, especially, again, if you are working in a commission type of setting, you will be earning much more than those people na ang tingin lang dun sa trabaho, trabaho lang. Para magkaroon ng 15 days. Pero ikaw, if you look at it, sort of a business na hindi, this is my business, this is my product. My product is me. I need to make my product better. So, mag-i-invest ako sa itsura ko, mag-i-invest ako sa damit ko, mag-i-invest ako sa paano ko magsalita, manonood ako ng mga TED Talk about sales. So, that's lahat sa amin dyan, nagbebenta sa building na yan, I'm the only one who knows how to employ those type of things. One of the things na naintindihan ko when I am now an entrepreneur, a business owner, is yung mga empleyado ko who has that amount of pride sa ginagawa nila. Okay? Kasi the way I see it, your employment is sort of a micro business. It is your own business in a sense. A small business for yourself wherein yan ang pinagkakagalingan ng pera mo. And this applies more so dun sa mga, like what I keep saying, commission-based type of positions. Na if you invest in your knowledge, in everything, like how you would invest a business mo, you want to invest in the look of your business, you want to invest in the customer service, you want to hire the best people, you do that for yourself as well. You want to be a better customer service agent, thus you learn, you watch YouTube, whatever. Okay? You will eventually get to earn more than most normal employees do. And the reason kung ba't ko to actually nare-relate ngayon, is because of one of the topics na, as you guys know, I do sa mga business talks natin, especially for corporations, is yung the same thing, looking at your employment as your business. The same topic. And it's funny, kasi dati, the first time I did this, which was, I think, 6 years ago, mga ganyan, a company approached me to do this talk, and they told me na, RP, we want you to do a business program, a business talk sa mga tao namin, give them and this was with Megawide, give them a sort of an idea on what happens after employment. And we want you to inspire them to stay in Megawide. So I was like, parang ang hirap nun. A business consultant telling people to go into business pero they need to spend more in their employment. So isip talaga ako ng isip. Then it hit me na if you break down a business, in its very core, the one obvious thing na you would need would be money. Bago ka makapag-umpisa ng negosyo, more often than not, 99% of the businesses na papasukin mo, you would need some kind of capital. And most of the time, that capital is in the form of money. And for you to have that money, you need to have a certain funnel na magbibigay sa'yo ng maraming nun. In this case, it would be your employment, yung trabaho mo.
Yeah.
So I made a very simple connection na if you are looking to become an entrepreneur and you want to have your own business, if you are an employee right now, there is really no other way to do it other than become a better employee. Kasi as you become a better employee, you give yourself more opportunities to secure more money via commissions, via promotions, via even just the learning. As a better employee, you get to give yourself the chance na you are treated, kahit papaano mas may mentoran ka ng mga higher positions in your area. Mm-hmm. So, and all of those, you will be able to use it when you start your own business. Mm-hmm. So that was actually the points that I was connecting na at some point, you have to look at your employment as how you would your business. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a business person someday and you are an employee now, really the only thing you can do is to get more money via your employment, and the only way to do that is to be a really, really good employee.
Nice.
I agree.
That's right.
And I think it's a very common thing right now, wherein people think that in order to be an entrepreneur, they need to have a business.
Correct. And plus, I just want to put this out there. Sorry, Chris. I just want to put this out there. It doesn't, kasi ngayon, we are in the age of the entrepreneur. Everybody thinks na, to be happy, I need to have my own business. I need to be an entrepreneur. Well and good, don't get me wrong. Wala namang problema sa ganyan thinking. But at the same time, you gotta understand, it doesn't always have to be like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know people, clients nga natin yung iba na they are high-level executives and they are very happy with themselves. And yes, we are business consultants. Yung pa pala, see? That's another point. We are business consultants pero we do coach high-level executives as well. Wala naman silang negosyo. They just want to be coached as if they have a business because they treat their positions as how they would a business. Mm-hmm. And that's a secret. Okay? That's a secret of some of these very, very successful high-level executives.
There you go. So I think that is a misconception, right? In order to be an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurial mindset, you need to have a business. Mm-hmm. So in that regard, I agree with you, RP, that if you want to have the entrepreneurial mindset, you can really start with during your employment because it will transition over.
Yeah.
Tama.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yung tipong we've been saying it a lot na turuan mo yung sarili mo early. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be kasi that's the whole point of why trainings were made. Tayo, yung concept ng training natin dito. You train now for the business na you want later. Hindi yung kapag nandiyan ka na sa loob ng business na yan, tsaka ka palang magte-training. Yeah. Kasi mas malaki yung chance na mag-fail ka pag gano'n. You train now, you plan it for a couple of months, and then you open it. That's what we do.
That's right.
Yeah. And with your first point, I actually remember the kind of mindset I had when I was in employment. I'd had this thing where if management does something, they have a decision, and I go, alam mo, mali yung ginagawa nila. Dapat
it's not,
yan.
It's not positioned to help us.
Yeah, it's different. It's alam mo, bakit ganun ginagawa? Basically, I don't think they're very smart because if that was me, I would have done it this way. And what I don't realize is that what I'm the lens I'm looking at it from is only one aspect of the business. So let's say I was in customer service. I only looked at it from a customer service
standpoint.
Wherein, if you are the owner of a business, there are so many other factors that you should consider.
Yes.
There's your finances. There's other kinds of things that you should consider, and that was what I failed to do before.
Tama.
Just look at it on one lens.
Tama. Actually, I remember may inatinan akong talk dati. I was still an employee then. And isa yan sa may ibang nagtanong na gano'n na what can you say about yung management namin if we think na lahat ng ginagawa nila mali, wala, parang hindi nila alam how to lead us, ganun. Yung sagot ng tao at that time I felt insulted pero now naiintindihan ko looking back at it now I understand what he means. Sabi niya sa akin, Hindi niya sinabi niya sa amin, sa crowd, no? Sagot niya ron sa tao na yun is, you think like that because you have never led a company. Ang
Tama
dating
yan.
sa akin, ang yabang. Pero when you look at it at the very core, tama naman pala. Sabi niya na, you think like that because you have never had the chance to lead a company. And because of that, there's a big possibility na you might never will. Pero thinking about that now, I see a lot of people na kine-question ng mga bagay just for the sake na makapag-question sila. Unfortunately, you don't want to be a snob, pero you kind of look at them and say, these are the kind of people who will never have the chance to build their own, lead their own. And you would be surprised, no? These are really, really talagang magagaling na tao, ha? Kasi like what we said from the previous podcast, the traps na pwedeng mangyari sa mga magagaling na tao. Pag magaling ka, may tendency, yun ang feeling mo eh. Sobrang galing mo, wala ka nang pwedeng matutunan.
Yes. Now, close-minded ka na.
Yeah. I think the better question there is why did they do that? And really keep an open mind about it. Understand, what are you missing? What other things are there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Kasi sometimes talagang now I understand that person. I'm not gonna name baka mabash siya eh. No? Pero now I understand that person when he says no. Kasi sometimes nasasabi ko rin eh. Sometimes even simple Facebook post. I don't open my Facebook with the intention of judging someone, pero I will see someone reacting to something so petty and I just find myself thinking, this person I don't think he will ever lead. He or she will ever lead. Kasi or ever have the chance to lead a big company, a company of his own or her own, simply because yung nakikita mong utak na ganyan, ang hirap i-correct niyan eh.
Kurang reklamo.
Now, that's unfortunately a lot of people do fall into that trap. So that's one of the things na I will say is the biggest differences nga sa nakita ko as far as mindset is concerned, what we call the employment mindset and the entrepreneurial mindset. Employee mindset rather, and an entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay, so in true Mentorship Mondays fashion, let's kind of summarize this episode with a word.
My
Nice.
word is pride. Okay, pride because, again, like what I said earlier, at some point, you need to look at your employment and your business and understand that there is very little to sometimes maybe even no difference between them if you look at them from a livelihood standpoint. Okay, if this is your livelihood, you gotta have pride in whatever it is that you do. And trust me, having that pride na I need to be better. May it be I'm just an agent. May it be I own the place and sell something. You gotta have pride in whatever it is that you are doing. And trust me when I tell you, that will only lead you to greater things.
Okay? Sa akin naman, determine. So, before you look for a job, no? Or kung maging employee ka, okay, before you look for a job, make sure first kung ano yung gusto mo. Okay, papasok ka lang ba dyan dahil kailangan mo ng pera, kailangan mo ng pantustos araw-araw, or papasok ka dyan para maging successful or for growth. Yeah.
Good. Find something that you are passionate about and you will never work a day in your life. Ganun ba? Okay. Chris.
So for me, it is mindset.
Okay.
Okay.
Bago yun ah.
Hindi natin naririnig yun.
Why mindset? Chris?
Yeah. So basically, it's I know it's a word that's pretty much out there already, but basically having the proper mindset is important. Not necessarily the entrepreneurial mindset or the employee mindset, but just understand that the mindset you have will determine a lot of your success.
Tama. Okay, and before we go, we just want to leave you with this. One of the things then that will help you a great deal is to understand whether or not you think you are for the entrepreneurial life or not. Because it doesn't have to always be. Like what Chris said earlier, there's a big misconception out there that to be successful in life, you have to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Okay, as long as you're happy, God bless you. Again, my name is RP.
Chris.
Ryan.
See you next Monday, guys. Hey, business people, RP here. Thank you for listening to Mentorship Mondays. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Don't forget to like and follow our channel, Mentorship Mondays, and share this episode to somebody whom you think may learn from it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next Monday.